So, Cat with Blue Hat has just released a new video, 10 things you missed in 4.2 Fontaine trailer. Gonna butcher this. Masquerade of the Guilty for Genshin Impact. Now, in my opinion, the version 4.2 trailer was the most hyped trailer Genshin has released. It was so good. But just like the version 4.1 trailer, there was a lot going on, so there's probably a lot that was missed, which we're going to be finding out today. Of course, the original video is going to be the first link in the description, so make sure to go support the original creator. And yeah, let's jump into it.
I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
What do you mean about that, Farina? Judging the god of justice herself was long being foreshadowed since the start of the game. It was indeed. The description of the Veronad Lazaret gemstone states, "My ideals have no stains, I must correct you. People here bear no sins in the eyes of the gods. Only laws and tribunia can judge someone. They can judge even me, so praise my magnificence and purity." Because if I remember from the trailer, the Oratrice declared Farina guilty and was offered the death sentence. Or it might be the case that the people offered the death sentence and then the Oratrice agreed with it. So in return, Neuvillette read out the results like he always does. Which I feel for my boy because you can tell he did not want to read that out. And with the tailor suggesting the same.
Seem to remember that.
This trial.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique de Nalise Cordinaire.
Yep, here we go.
The Hydro Archon to be punished via the death sentence.
Which, what I find weird about that though, which was pointed out through a few comments, is we see when Farina's dancing near the end, her hair's short. Farina has long hair, but the one at the end only has short hair. So that adds on to the theory that there's multiple Farinas and the one that possibly dies is one of the clones, or maybe it's the original, who knows. The lore from Fontaine's Wind Glider also suggests, I haven't unlocked it yet, that the previous Hydro Archon Egeria committed a sin for the sake of her people. Which is likely the original sin that Egeria mentioned in the Overture teaser.
The original sin is the fairest. Everyone sinks. Make the most of the final feast. Because for the sinners, the curtain call has come.
I can't remember, but I think someone told me that in the world quest, it kind of touches on like the original sin a little bit. I don't know if that's true or not because I still haven't done a lot of the world quest in Fontaine. So I don't know if we already know what the original sin is, but if we don't know already, it's probably going to be told to us by Farina or maybe Skirk. And which Neuvillette also mentions in his demo.
You who were born with original sin.
Man, banging tune, by the way.
Search for the long-buried truth before all is lost beneath the waves.
While you all turn to water, it seems Farina will be judged for the consequences of this original sin.
Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape as the
Oh yeah, so a bunch of people got just turned into a puddle.
water levels rose. They suddenly disappeared.
Man, skill issue.
Gods be all powerful?
Is it really an Archon's duty to protect their people? Kind of. To a certain extent. I think it just depends on, like, ideals, right? Because, for example, Venti allows for his people to do whatever they want. He only steps in once, you know, there's a problem that they can no longer solve. Zhongli sent a whole god on his people to see if they're able to defend themselves. You know, kind of defends her people. Kind of enslaved them for a little bit, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, and then Nahida does protect her people, like, fully. I think it just depends what type of situation your region is in. According to Celestia, Egeria was given the duty to judge guilty humans. Zhongli is bound by contracts ever since he received the Gnosis. And Venti's ideal of freedom leads him to not directly rule his own people, which has even made others to mock him as the absentee Archon of Mondstadt. Yeah, too many people shit on Venti, man. He does the work when it comes to it. The man has his own ideals. He's a good boy. Whilst Raiden ended up isolating her entire nation for the sake of eternity. Okay, so things that I touched on. So far, it seems like the Archons protect the people out of their own desires instead of Celestia's. Yeah, the Archons hate Celestia, to be honest. That's what I've noticed. Could Farina be trying to balance between the two as to not completely destroy her people? Maybe? And is willing to go as far as to sacrifice herself for her ideal of justice. Yeah, which could be like the plan that she has. Because I think Nouvelette said in the trailer, I can't remember which part, if it was near the end, but he said that Farina was a despicable Archon, if I recall correctly. I don't know if it was despicable or if it was... I think I'm remembering that wrong. Okay, yeah, my mistake. He said she's a devious one. That's what he said. And if the theory of Farina having more than one of herself, like maybe there's 3 Farinas or 2, sacrificing one for the sake of her people, I can see her doing that. And as for the name of the Archon quest says, Masquerade of the Guilty. It seems like the one who's truly guilty is the Hydra Archon herself. And these past 500 years have all just been the Masquerade fake show she put up. I mean, it's been pretty obvious she's been putting on a show for some reason. As to if that was to give entertainment to her people to, like, distract them from the prophecy, I could definitely see that being the case.
Farewell, Nouvelette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
See, is that still Farina? But Nouvelette seems to have finally found a solution to all of this. I can't tell if that's the previous Hydra Archon or if that's still Farina. It is possible she might just be talking in more of a calm and softer way. I can never tell.
I now understand the true purpose behind this position. You are a devious one, Fusalo.
There's the line. There is also another possibility. Let's hear it. If the popular theory that the real Fusalo is inside the Oratrice is true, yep, where the Gnosis is, then the one that will be punished might be the Oratrice itself instead of Farina. That could very well be the case.
Justice that belongs to you. All.
Which I guess if you're putting on some kind of dramatic show, the Oratrice itself being the one to be guilty is quite the dramatic end to a performance.
All will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial.
Yep. You see that she has short hair there?
I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
So that does seem like Farina. This voice sounds like Farina, but has more of a mature tone compared to the one we know. So yeah, there's probably the bubbly Farina that we know, which is the one that we know and love, or hate, depending on how you see her character. And then the one inside the Oratrice is the more mature one, and the one that makes the decisions if someone is guilty or not. Could this be the real Fusalo, or perhaps the original Farina? Possible. She could also be the one who just accepts the death sentence and passes on the duty of justice to Farina. And then Skirk. The name of this character is Skirk, a person from the darkest corners of the universe. And I did mention this in the comments, but I do hope she drops a lot of lore bombs, because she is well knowledged in the Abyss. So, whether that is we'll get more information on the Abyss or Celestia, it's most likely going to come from her. She looks pretty though. When Child was 14 years old, he fell into the Abyss and was trained by her. And then she also told him he had something about it. Everything Child knows about combat comes from her. His foul legacy transformation is also something Skirt taught him.
It's been years since I last saw my master. I should hope the next we meet, I'll at least be able to force her to use both hands to beat me.
So we might see a fight between these two. Because it looks like she's in the whale domain that we saw when the boss fight takes place. So I don't know if she's going to show up before or after the whale appears. My guess is she's probably going to turn up afterwards, or maybe in the middle. Who knows? Skirk is a quite mysterious swordswoman and a very strict teacher. She is able to survive in the Abyss and has also taught the same to Taglia. However, it is unknown if she's part of the Abyss Order or not. I feel like she might be someone similar to like Dane, but maybe just has a different goal. Because from the very beginning, she sensed that Child had like primordial power, or the will inside of him, or whatever's going on with Tartaglia. And so the fact that she didn't eliminate him when she found that out, she probably has like a different motive.
One time, I asked her why she was willing to take me on as an apprentice. From what I could make of her answer, it was...
He had it.
Because I had awakened it,
Mm-hmm.
and traces of it remained on me. She said that all my combat training would be useful in the future.
Which is very
Ever
interesting.
since the incident I experienced there, I've never stopped searching for Master Skirk and that unknown abyss. But it's been years now, and I've still found nothing. There isn't even a trace of the place where I remember falling into the abyss.
Her design itself also looks like it's from Honkai Impact or Star Rail. I mean, that kind of goes for quite a few designs though, innit? Nothing too new there. But she does look like Jin Liu from Star Rail. But the thing from what Child said as well, it's the fact that there's like different pocket planes of the abyss that just can open up and swallow people. So it could very well be the possibility that she kind of roams around in the abyss to like search for people that might have fallen in. But then again, I don't think she would be too kind-hearted like that. There's not enough information to go off yet. It could be that she's not from Tevat and is instead a descender like the Traveler. True! I didn't think of that. Perhaps the Primordial one and its 4 shades will also have similar designs, as they too aren't from Tevat. True, she does have a very similar design to the Unknown God. And I keep forgetting we haven't actually learned about all the Descenders yet, so Skirk could very well be one of them. This idea is not too far-fetched because we've seen another such design before. We have. The Unknown God. Remember the sustainers of the heavenly principles? That we do. Can't forget the Unknown God. We can see a break in the floor of the Opera Epiclis through which the Norwheel will spawn. Which is a bit weird, right? Because if the thing that we saw in the Fortress of Meripede, the thing that's keeping the Horde on primordial water, I thought that's where the whale was being kept. So unless that came loose and then the whale somehow appeared in the Opera Epiclis somehow, or if it had something to do with Farina sacrificing herself, which like undid the sin, I don't know, it's possible. In this scene, Neuvillette appears to be flying over the entire region of Fontaine, because he's just a badass. Will he use his powers to suppress the flood that will drown all of Fontaine? I mean, judging from what we saw at the end of the trailer with Fontaine being flooded, I don't think he was able to do it. But without the Gnosis, he might not have the full powers to do something like this. He can probably hold it back for like a few seconds, unless he temporarily borrows the Hydra Gnosis, which would be hype if he does. It also looks like Child will be back and will use his foul legacy to fight the Norwheel. Yeah, he will. The goat is back. It looks different as well, right? It looks like it's got an upgrade. Oh, here's a weird but likely possibility. This person is not Child, but Skirk. Foul Legacy is something Skirk taught Child, so it could be her using this transformation. I mean, it could be, but I feel like that would take away from Child's limited screen time that he's had in the Archon quest. I mean, no, because I can see the blonde hair. Oh, ginger hair. So I feel like that's not going to be the case. I feel like if we're going to see Skirk's like Foul Legacy, it's probably going to have a different design that's we should be able to tell it apart. But I'm definitely going to need a side-by-side for Child's like Foul Legacy because I think it looks different from how we've seen it before. It definitely looks like it's kind of upgraded. I mean, if he's awakened it, then I would assume that Child's got a very big upgrade canon-wise. The scene shows the Norwheel breaking Tartaglia's Monoceros Cili constellation. Since visions are tied to ambitions and constellations, could this be why Child's vision stopped working because this creature was interfering with his constellation? Very good point, to be honest. I mean, that was something that we all kind of guessed, that the power of it was interfering with his vision. But the whole fact of like the whale kind of breaking through the constellation, that does say a lot about why he can't use his powers. But maybe the whale detected that Child was in Fontaine, so it decided to, like, you know, start messing with the vision or his constellation. So he would have to, like, rely on this, like, unknown power, which is, like, how it got free. So essentially just use child because, you know, if we're going by what we've seen so far in the story, everything is just using Tartaglia. So that would be nothing new. We also hear Mona and Nicole Reese in the 4.2 trailer.
I know you're not a local, but I'd avoid getting too close to any water that looks strange all the same.
I missed that.
Something ominous about it. Well, the water.
Yeah, Navia falls in the water.
Yes. What has been prophesized will be fulfilled.
See, I don't like that scene because we see Navia falling and then we hear a water splash. I can already imagine the cutscene of, you know, we jump after her, we fall into the water, and then we just, like, see her disappear. Which is gonna damage my soul if we see that. I mean, there's probably gonna be a way we bring her back, but, you know, it'll still hurt. If you remember, both of them are associated with the cannot pronounce that, group of mages. So 4.2 will also have some new Hexagon story and lore to look forward to. This scene also probably shows the ending of the Masquerade quest series. Love pronouncing these names. Fontaine has had the most names I have butchered so far in all of Genshin. I would say like 70% of the names I just cannot pronounce whatsoever. If you remember, last time it ended at the doomsday clock about to strike midnight. Did it? I can't remember too much of this. I don't even know if I did it. But now the entire clock seems to fall apart, suggesting that the world was saved. It was also revealed that Aquilino will be helping Fontaine in this Archon quest. But she's still a grey area though. Maybe she's doing this in exchange for the Hydronosis. We did learn as well that Aquilino made a deal with the Tsaritsa that once she gets hold of the Hydronosis, she's allowed to do one thing with it. I'm still kind of worried what that one thing might be. Because again, Aquilino for me is still in a grey area. Like, she could very well still be a good person who's, you know, just trying to do stuff for the greater good in, like, her own way. Or she could very well be a villain, like a wolf in sheep's clothing type of character. So, still can't fully trust her just yet, even though she is helping. But I do hope that she is a playable character. I love her character design. But only time can tell if she will betray us or not. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and I will like the video, which you should too. So you should go to the original video and support the creator if you haven't already. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.